Welcome to lesson 6 of the Starter Kit series. In this lesson, we are going to add Tailwind CSS to our project. We are going to install Tailwind Forms plugin and then create a reusable input component. Let's get started by adding Tailwind CSS. Only thing you have to do is run this command npx svelte-add Tailwind CSS, and then since I want the just-in-time feature, I will put a --jit as well. So let's go to our project, and I have already pasted it and --jit. Okay, and I'm going to run it. So once this runs, I will explain a bit about why you would wish to have just-in-time mode. So in Tailwind CSS version 2.1, this was introduced. So just-in-time compiler for Tailwind CSS that generates your styles on demand as you author your templates. That means when you write utility classes in your template, it will generate the styles at that time, not any other time. So this is really good. Also, lightning fast builds. Every variant is enabled out of the box, so you don't have to enable them manually. So that's a really good feature as well. So yeah, I would recommend to use the just-in-time mode. Okay, so this command has run. Okay, let's see the files that it has created, but I do have to run npm install, and I will run npm run dev as well. Okay, so while that is happening, I will check out the files that it has generated. Okay, it has generated tailwind config CJS. That's good. Okay, we need that. Post CSS config CJS. Okay, and what else? I think that's it. Oh no, app post.css. Okay, this file was created. So this is in source app post CSS. So this file has been created. Okay, so now let's see if everything is installed. Okay, now I think let's see what we get. Localhost 3000. Okay, now it has not applied the styles yet. So to apply the styles, we need to add this app post.css to our layouts file. Okay, so let's go here and import that. So here, script, import, go up one, and then I have to put use. Yeah, what's the name? It's app.post.css. Okay, that's it. Okay, let's see now. Okay, nice. So now the styles have been applied. Let's go change in index. Let's make this, give it a class of text red 500. Okay. Okay, right. We have installed Tailwind CSS. Now we need to install Tailwind Forms. So only thing you do have to do is copy this, open up this, paste, and then add this to your plugins. So in the Tailwind config.js or CJS in our case, let's put this here, open. I'll close this one that's installed, close this one as well, and add this to plugins. Okay, now we are good to go. Now let's go to login screen and create an input component. First, I want to move my login.svelte form this to a separate component itself. So let me copy everything and create forms login form.svelte. Yeah, I think let's rename these to change password -form, forget password -form, that way. Then it's much more clearer in the template that it's actually a form that we are calling. If not, for example, in the reset password, we use it like reset password. It will be better if it's reset password form, and here also reset password form, here form, and let's do reset password form. like that. I will do that for the rest of the components off screen, but for now, let's get to it. So let's paste everything that were there. Yeah, so we can now create an input component. So I'm going to name my form input component as input, and this input component should expect a type of email, and it should bind value like email, maybe a placeholder as well, but we are not using the placeholder right now, so let's keep it simple. Oh, and it also needs to have a label of email. Okay, so that's how the API should look for our input component. So let's go create an input component. I will do this in lib and then create a folder called elements, and then inside that I will create a file called input.svelte. Okay, so this input.svelte will expect a label, so export let label. It will also, let's say, no, let's do save, and let's create a div, a label, and an input. For now, we will have a type. What else? We will have a placeholder. We can default it to empty string for now. The type default can be a text for now, and label can be empty for now. Okay, so here we can put label type equals type. There's a shorthand way of doing this. When it's the same name, type equals type, you can do this in Svelte. Awesome. Then what else? We would expect a value as well. So value, I'll move this up. So value equals value. Oh, yeah. What else was it? Let's log in form. There should be a name as well, because input components have a name. So here I will use name. Okay, so so in a form input, it should have a for value. So I'm going to use the name for it. So label is for this input, and the name goes here. So name equals name. Again, you can do this, and I am going to set a ID to be equal to the name as well. Okay, right. Placeholder is placeholder, so placeholder. Okay, let's see this. I am using this here. Input is not defined. Okay, that means we have to import it. Import input from lib elements input. Okay, let's check it out. Okay, nice. Let's do the same for our password. Name is password, type is also password, and bind value is password. Okay. Now let's see if this works. I'm going to inspect and go to the network tab, and I'm going to add the password and see if this works. Yes, it does work. Nice. Okay. What else do we need to do? Come here. Now let's style it actually. Okay. I'm going to close this and then move it right over here. And I'm going to move this over here. And log out and go to login. And now let's style this. So for label, I'm going to use a class styles. So it has to be a block. Text is SM font medium. And let's make it text gray 700. Okay, save. Then change, maybe. Let's add the styles to this. Make it, give it a shadow. Shadow, give it a focus ring indigo of 500. I have to make sure that this works. Let me make the text color red. Why isn't the styles are applying? Let's give it a refresh. Let me try to stop and start again. npm run dev. Why isn't the styles are applying? Let's check it out. Inspect. Make this bigger. Okay, the classes are not applying. Why is that? Okay, login form. Oh, I know the problem. We didn't up. Sorry about that. We have to use the login form component. Login form from lib forms login form. Yeah, these things happen. Okay, let's use login form. Okay. Let's move this back and see. Let's exit npm run dev again. Why is it taking so long? Refresh. Okay, it says the file doesn't exist. Okay. Login form. Go up. Close this. It's in the wrong directory, I believe. Okay, go up once, another one, and then Nhost. Okay. Okay, what does this say? Fail to load module elements input. Input from libforms input dot svelte. Oops. You have to use the extension, I believe. Yeah, nice. Finally, okay, we are there. Now let's style it a bit more and make the form look better. I'm going to give the form class of space y2. Okay, so just to give more space, I'm going to actually increase the input width to a full width, and then the parent will control the width of the input field. So go to input and give this a width full, like that. Okay, let's give this a border of gray 300. Border gray 300. And what else can I give? make it a block component. Block, yeah, rounded MD is good. Yeah, I think that looks good. It looks a bit big though. I have increased the screen size a bit. It should look like that, but there is not enough gap between these two. Let's wrap this in a div and give a margin top. Margin top of 1, I think, is enough. MT1. Cool, that looks better. So also I would like to have a place to show an error message if there is an error message, for example. Maybe we can just make the border red when there is a, let's say if this is required and you haven't filled it out and you submit the form, let's make the border red or something, or highlight it. Yeah, let's remove this. What's that? Don't want that. Yeah, okay. I will, that's it. Let's now check it out if this works. We checked it out previously, but we were actually using the same login page. Okay, let's log in. No, it doesn't work. Email is not allowed to be empty. So that means in the login form, this does not get populated. Okay, we are binding value email. We have to do the same in the input component itself. So here, we can't do value, but we have to bind the value like this to value. Again, the shorthand for this is just bind value. Okay, so let's remove this and save it. Then we get this error of type attribute cannot be dynamic if input uses two-way binding. Okay, so this we are using two-way binding and this cannot be dynamic. So we are actually setting the type dynamically, but it says that it cannot be dynamic when we are using two-way binding. This has been, I asked this question online, Googled it, and I came to an answer from Rich Harris himself. So it explains here the reason type must be static with two-way binding is that the code Svelte generated is different for different kinds of input. For example, number and range inputs must have their values coarse to number. So that means if it's type number or range, then the form actually gives a string that should be converted to a number, and that is being done by Svelte. But you can't do that when it's not static, when the type is not static. So some input needs change event listeners instead of input events, or vice versa, and so on. So he has actually suggested answer as well. Let's use that. All we need to do is remove the type from here and use value. Sorry, we don't use the type, we use value equals value. And we are going to use on input change to call a function. So let's do that. Value equals value. Save this, remove this, and let's use on input handle import. Okay, so on input, I'm going to call a function called handle input. And let's create that function handle input. Oops. And paste. Okay, I'm going to remove this, this. We get the event, and that's it. Okay, so we get the type from here. The prop is passed down from the parent component. We check if it matches the number or range. If that is the case, we get the event and the target value and coerce it to a number by using this unary operator. I actually learned about this unary operator yesterday. Here, cast to number in JavaScript using the unary operator. Nice. You just you don't have to use pass int or something like that. You can just use this. And if that is not the case, if it's not a number or range, then we just do target value. Okay, good. Now let's check this out again. Give it a refresh and let's set that. Okay, login. Nice, it works. Beautiful. Okay, so in the next lesson, I will be replacing all these inputs that we have with the input component that we just created, this one, and I will also be replacing. Then let's go ahead and show error messages, because right now, if we enter a wrong password and we try to log in, we are not showing an error message, but we should show. Yes, of course, Nhost provides an error message, and let's show that. But we'll do that on the next lesson. Thank you very much for watching. Give me a thumbs up if you like it, and give it a share and a subscribe as well. Have a good day. Take care. Bye.